this man right here, of a shadow of his former self. Look at him, standing, hands on his hips, looks disinterested, and is not up for the fight anymore. Trent Alexander-Arnold, the player that we once admired as the future of Liverpool, the one who made that who's known for iconic free kicks, who's known for an iconic assist in the Champions League for Divock Origi, with the evident goal sending us through to the Champions League final. The one who was really the star player is not what he is now, and is taking shade at some Liverpool players not being at their best. When this man, who has the third most amount of minutes in this Liverpool team, the 2022/23 season, is not putting a shift in. He's not putting the shift in at right back. He is not the player that we once knew. And for him to have the gall to and the stick and coolness to think that he has not been the problem of this Liverpool team is a disgrace. As a young player, it is a definite disgrace for him to think that he has not done anything wrong in this Liverpool team is a disgrace. And serious questions need to be answered towards Trent Alexander-Arnold, towards his loyalty to this club, towards whether he's up for the fight anymore, and towards whether we as Liverpool Football Club should sell him in the summer. So Trent's form towards the start of the season, it dipped big time, and now he's been kicked off the England national team. And does that show why Gareth Southgate didn't? And with Trent's terrible start to the season, is that why Gareth Southgate didn't have him as a starter at the World Cup? And is it now why Gareth Southgate is no longer having him in the national team because his form is just terrible? And he needs to think of himself first. He needs to look at the mentality side of it. He needs to look at the tactical side of it. And is Trent becoming Dele Alli 2.0 or something? But like, for him to have to stick and old school coolness act to think that he has done well, and some Liverpool players have done that the mentality of some Liverpool players have not been good enough. Well, at least some of those players are trying. Trent, what have you done? In that Madrid game, you were a disgrace. So many games this season, you have been a disgrace, and you have not owned up to your mistakes. And it's time for you to start realizing that. Because Trent, with you thinking that you can call out players and all of that, why are you not thinking of yourself? Why are you not calling out yourself? That's a sign of a good player. Why are you not doing that? Why are you not doing that, Trent? You are finished. You think that you know what you're doing in everything, in every aspect. Oh, I'm Trent Alexander-Arnold. I won a Champions League. I won a Premier League. I can say whatever I want. No, you can't. You cannot, Trent. I'm sorry. Show that you can say what you want. Show that you are worth it. Show that you are up for the fight, but you aren't anymore. And I think Gareth Southgate was already hinting at something when he didn't start Trent in the World Cup. And now he's already hinted at him not being good enough, really, because he's out of the England squad. What more is there to do? Trent's not good enough. He needs to start having Klopp needs to start having a serious conversation. And when I mean serious, I mean really serious. For a world class player like Vinicius Jr. to easily get dragged over and get easily drifted past by Trent, who is defending him. What is that? What is that to do? Trent needs to be had a serious competition. Klopp, like the signings list for this summer is piling on even more and more and more as some players are just not up for it anymore. Right back, midfielder, like maybe even central defender because Van Dyke and Van Dyke can't keep up with it anymore or something. Like the signings list is just so much, but it's unbelievable how Trent can think that he's not been the one who's been the problem of this team. He needs to start realizing that he is not a star player. It's time for him to start realizing that he has also been part of a terrible defense this season, a terrible back four. And most of the goals have really been conceded from the right side of attack, from the right side of our defense. And who's the one always marking the right side of defense? Trent. The only reason why Trent, the only reason why we've not been able to, you know, that side is being attacked more is because Klopp had the midfielders back then. He had the midfield to be able to guard Trent and to defend him. That's why Trent was not always used to defending. He's always more used to attacking down the right flank, always on the front, always on the attacking front. He's never used to defending, and without a solid and sustainable midfield to comfort Trent, he's vulnerable. Evidently he's vulnerable at defending that right side because he's only relying mostly on the midfield doing the work. And that is also hinting to why we need to sign at least three or two midfielders in the summer because our midfield right now is not going to compete with the rest of the top six. And we need a massive, massive midfield revamp. Whatever the signings are, doesn't matter. Mason Mount has I think there's a tweet recently where Jose Enrique tweeted, I think, saying that Mason Mount is now free to talk to other clubs, and so does that hint Liverpool go in on him because Mason Mount is an admirer of Jurgen Klopp, and you know what, I wouldn't I wouldn't be fine with Mason Mount because I think a lot of potential, can be a great player. And honestly, I would like to see Mason Mount in a future Liverpool midfield because he's homegrown and it'd be good profit for Chelsea as well. And it'd also be good for us if we're trying to get maybe a younger generational midfielder who has a future ahead of him. Yeah. Mateus Nunes is also another one, another good midfielder at least. But recently I don't know why, but Wolves fans have been saying, okay, here it is, I found it. Chelsea, this is coming from Football Insider. Chelsea have told Mason Mount he is free to find a new club. Jurgen Klopp admires the playmaker and wants to bring him in as a part of a midfield refresh. Mount is also a big fan of Klopp and would jump at the chance to work with him. There you go. And so honestly, I would be fine with Mason Mount overall. I think he's a great player. He's got potential to be a great player at Liverpool. And if he evidently is going to leave Liverpool and leave Chelsea in the summer with his contract running down the next 12 months, and honestly, I don't think Chelsea need him anymore. Like, the rise of Conor Gallagher is already getting out to him. N'Golo Kante may or may not leave, may or may not stay. But evidently, I think Kante will still stay at Chelsea, and they've already got Enzo Fernandez. Like, it's just a lot of competition for Mason Mount, and for us, a Liverpool midfield who is struggling to keep up in the Premier League. I think it would be a great fit for Mason Mount for him to keep up with probably a starting spot. Maybe I don't really want him to be all the time on the bench because I think he could if Klopp. Here's the thing: whenever Klopp sees something in a player, get him in. Just get him in. As long as Klopp sees something in Mount, as long as Klopp sees something in Mateus Nunes, as long as Klopp sees something in Bellingham, as long as Klopp sees something in any player, bring him in because that's when you know the manager is making the right decision, and that's why I still think Jurgen Klopp will stay at the club. And I can't handle this as well. Did he Hadman? Did he? Oh, keep forgetting who said it. Who was it? I don't know. Let me find the tweet. I don't know what was going on, but Diddy Hammond. Yeah, Diddy Hammond. As a former Liverpool player, for you to think, for him to think that Klopp should go in the summer is disgraceful. Diddy Hammond, you are an actual disgrace. for you to think Klopp should go in the summer, nah, I can't. And as a German player, as a former German professional footballer for Liverpool, for Newcastle, for Bayern, for Man City, like, and as a midfielder as well, as a former midfielder, it's disgraceful. But if you haven't seen what Diddy Hammond said about Klopp leaving in the summer, you would be livid. But that is a disgrace from Diddy Hammond as well. But yeah, a lot of things to cover. Anyways, international break for the next 15 weeks. We have a lot of things to cover, obviously. Transfer rumors, club in general, players. But yeah, a lot to cover, really. And I'll see you guys in the next.